Dune, the 11th Blade, the 5th season, Between Two Fires, Project Hail Mary, Fever Dream, Crimes Against Magic, super cool, super dumb, super fun, super whatever. Hello everyone, this is Joe, and welcome back to Fictional Fracas. On this channel, we like to celebrate reading books, novels and books, just reading pamphlets, reading menus. We kind of enjoy reading in general, and we think it's a good thing to do. On this episode, we're going to be checking out Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. But in this episode, I'm not going to be doing any weird voices. This is my real voice. You know what's worse than breaking up with your girlfriend? Being stuck with a prize-winning show kit. So let's talk about the book. Dungeon Crawler Carl is a great book. Highly recommend. If you don't watch any more of this review, just know that this is worth reading. So one evening, Carl's ex-girlfriend's cat goes outside, and Carl has to go out and get it because he's thinking about selling the cat because his ex-girlfriend cheated on him, and he wants to get some money out of her prize-winning cat, Princess Donut. But while he's outside, some aliens decide to destroy the house that he was living in, along with all other structures on Earth, and they give him an ultimatum. He can either go down into the first level of a dungeon and try to survive, or he can stay on the surface of the planet and use whatever resources are left over, even though the aliens essentially took all the resources because Earth was forfeit, in a similar scenario to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where Earth has been deemed non-responsive to the alien forces that are kind of taking over all of the different planets. So they're taking over Earth, and then they do utilize the resources of Earth to create I think it's an 18 level dungeon. Let me check my notes here. Yeah, 18 levels. Essentially, the aliens have made a game show out of putting real people and cats and other things into a game like D&D dungeon game show. Along with that are things like inventory and bad guys and mobs and leveling up and classes and all the things that you love about traditional Western RPGs, which is a lot of fun. I'm a huge RPG fan. I have my Dark Souls blanket on the wall here. I have my Dark Souls blanket that says "You died there." I enjoy those types of RPGs, and a lot of the elements from RPGs are in this book. So if you like video games, you're definitely going to enjoy this book. It also is really, really fun and funny. It has serious moments, but it also has a lot of silliness and a lot of really good, interesting, funny characters, like Princess Donut, who at the beginning of the book, once she enters the dungeon, becomes an actual player in the dungeon instead of a familiar, which is another option. She becomes essentially a sentient cat that can talk to Carl, and they become a team, and she gains magical powers and has like an intelligence rating, and she's kind of a princess, but she sort of has to learn how to get along with Carl and not be a selfish jerk, and that's kind of a lot of fun. At the beginning of reading this book, I had a lot of expectations because I am used to the stories that are told within D&D type settings and in RPG gaming, and I just was a little bit skeptical of a book being able to capture that type of storytelling, narrative, and style. And so after a few chapters, I really started getting into it and started learning about the characters. It's a interesting book. It's got a lot of elements from things like Hitchhiker's Guide and the Hunger Games, because in the Hunger Games, it's like people are being watched and exploited and put into a life or death situation for the sake of another group, like a wealthy class. And this is very similar to that, because they, along with hundreds of thousands of other, actually millions to start, humans are being forced to survive these trials and fight bosses and mobs, and a lot of them are just dying and being shown on television to a galaxy full of aliens who are watching this show. The world is pretty deep, and it starts to expand as Carl starts to learn about the corporations that are involved and the economics that are involved. And he's not a fan, and he likes to disrupt things. So it's fun to watch Carl create conflicts for the folks that are making the television show. And there's a lot of potential drama to come out of this book series. This is the first book, and I've only read this particular book so far. But the second book is right here. It is called Carl's Doomsday Scenario, and that will be next. So I will check that out, because it was a lot of fun to check this book out. So what else is there to say about Dungeon Crawler Carl? It's lighthearted, but with adult themes, so it doesn't shy away from a little bit of nudity, a little bit of cussing, a little bit of violence. Actually, a lot of violence. It's a very violent book. It's just a little bit hard to take it too seriously, because it's kind of like a video game, even though everyone in it is essentially like a real being from a real planet. Even the mobs, we find out, are actually from like, I think some of them are grown, some of them are made for the thing, and some of them seem to be coming from other places, and some of them even seem to be mutated versions of people from Earth. So it's a little bit confusing and a little bit fantastical. It's a lot fantastical. The whole thing is very much a kind of sci-fi fantasy, but it's very good. It's well written, and I definitely recommend it. One of the fun things about Dungeon Crawler Carl is that it is like they're in a video game, and so there are things like cool weapons, magic abilities. They have to do a lot of problem solving. Carl is really good at playing games or something like that, and he is able to look at scenarios wherein they might otherwise be killed and come up with unique solutions, which is one of the fun things about D&D and one of the fun things about open world games, or games that give you a lot of different options, is that you can come up with different solutions. And in this, part of the fun is watching Carl and Princess Donut figure out how to defeat bosses, or how to narrowly escape really powerful mobs and bad guys. All right, that's going to do it for this review. Make sure to check out Dungeon Crawler Carl. Go to joesnotesblog.com if you want to read my reviews, or read this particular review if you want to read the whole little write-up I have about it. Do that. Also, if you want to pick this up, make sure to use my affiliate link in the description or on my website, so that you can support my channel. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Totally normal voice. You know what's worse than breaking up with your girlfriend? Being stuck with a prize-winning show kit. And you know what's worse than that? An alien invasion, the destruction of all man-made structures on Earth, and the systematic exploitation of all the survivors for a sadistic intergalactic game show. That's what. Join Coast Guard vet Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, as they try to survive the end of the world, or just to get to the next level, in a video game like trap-filled fantasy dungeon. A dungeon that's actually the set of a reality television show with countless viewers across the galaxy. exploding goblins, magical potions, deadly drug-dealing llamas. This ain't your ordinary game show.